Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well this Tuesday. I was about to say Wednesday. This Tuesday morning. Hope everyone's doing well. What's up, Tony Gold? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. As always, guys, if you are enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the subscribe button if you do want to see more of the content. Drop a like if you're enjoying it. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. If you haven't done already, check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. The link to that is at the top of the chat, and you can find that in the description below as well. You can join discussions with myself, other traders as well, about different opportunities you're looking at in the market. And of course, you can find discount opportunities there for your next challenge on Elevating Traders for 50% off. So make sure you go check that out if you haven't done so already. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Welcome. What's up, Turkey? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. To Shebo, welcome to the stream. FX Wolf, good morning. Hope everyone's doing well. So, yeah, we haven't seen too much movement in the market, to be honest. The market hasn't really moved a lot. At least USD yen hasn't really done much. The pairs I'm looking at, gold was a little bit bullish, silver was a little bit bullish, but nothing crazy. What's up, Will? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Good morning. Yes, that's okay. That's a market that has moved. Oh yeah, you were buying that, weren't you? I remember you had a setup last week. Yeah, Bitcoin is a big mover. We'll definitely talk about Bitcoin because the breakout is looking pretty impressive right now. In fact, we'll start with Bitcoin. We'll go through the USD kind of area of the market. So gold, silver, Bitcoin, of course, the majors as well. But I think Bitcoin does deserve to be the starting point because if this is the breakout, then the sky's the limit for Bitcoin, really. If I go to the daily chart, look at the bigger play here, which is that descending channel I've been talking about. To me, it looks like price is well and truly broken through that. And most importantly, breaking through resistance here on the left, which is at 70K. So, of course, you haven't got the daily candle closure yet. So, still waiting for that confirmation before I would look for a retest, for example. But because momentum is so strong, it looks like we've had the retest of the low of the channel, of the high of the channel there. It does look like this potentially is the breakout, and we could be seeing some real big momentum now with Bitcoin. If you mark out the big psychological levels, you've got 80K over there. You've got 90K over here. And of course, you've got the infamous 100K over there as well. And those are the areas I'll be looking for Bitcoin to get. Of course, you've got the high, the all-time high here we still have to contend with. But this to me looks like a big kind of correction, big bull flag of this massive run last year. Well, it was actually last year to this year. So this looks like a big correction of that. And now we're seeing momentum breaking the high. You know, if you are going to see continuation, you're probably going to see similar momentum to this bullish leg here as well. So 80, 90, 100K are definitely very possible targets for Bitcoin. But yeah, now that we are looking like we're breaking through the high here, I think if we can get retest of that high around 70K and just anywhere really, I think that's really the play. And yeah, the sky's the limit. If I'm looking to trade Bitcoin, I'll just be looking to trail stops. I wouldn't put targets because we don't know how far this could go. Of course, you've got the high there to contend with, and realistically, that looks like a good target, especially if you're trading FX. But because this is crypto and we could be really exponential at any point, I would just let that take profit, be and just trail and see how far I can take it. But yeah, undisputedly, the momentum is very bullish right now. So retest around 69, 70K. Do look good for some opportunities, or maybe in the case of FX Wolf, looking to add positions on. But I must say, Bitcoin is looking very bullish right now. Okay, trailed stop in profits. Did call 70K yesterday. Wow. I mean, we're not too far. Actually, no, what did I say? We're not too far. We've broken through 70K. Still looking for opportunities in yen pairs. Okay, we'll have a look. Good morning, Karis. Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing good. So yeah, Bitcoin looking very, very bullish. I had a quick look at Ethereum as well, which didn't really do too much, to be honest, because of course, Bitcoin's the big player, and you kind of expect all the other cryptos to follow suit. If Bitcoin's going to go on a mad, crazy run, 9 times out of 10, the other cryptos will follow suit at some point. So if Bitcoin is going to see that big push to the upside, then you kind of expect Ethereum to join at some point. Right now, Ethereum is just kind of stuck in this consolidation. So not really much to report on, no breakout, no excessive momentum, nothing crazy really with Ethereum. But if we were to see price give us some strong closes above this area, that could be an indication that momentum's back. I'm not so convinced because there's still a long way to go. There's still structure above us here. With Bitcoin, we're kind of breaking out that channel with some momentum. So it looks really, really clear there. But even with a strong break with Ethereum, that would look good, but I wouldn't suddenly bet on Ethereum absolutely flying. But yeah, Bitcoin looks really, really good, and hopefully that can continue. Looking at the DXY quickly as well, we're still kind of stuck at that same level of resistance as we spoke about yesterday. Still holding on to this area over here. The market's really struggling to break through. Seeing some nice wicks there yesterday, the day before. That would be Friday. So nice wick on Friday, nice little wick there yesterday too. So the market is struggling at this price. And I do think if we can continue this, the market is likely to see some downside, which should help out Bitcoin to the upside as well. So we do need to see a bit of a weak dollar for that to happen. Same with the indices as well, which we'll get into at some point as well. But you can see the daily chart starting to stall there a lot. If I drop to the 4 hour there as well, you can see we still do have that bearish, that bullish, ascending channel. So I'm looking for price to still break outside of this. No evidence of that happening just yet. We're still kind of moving neat and tidy to the upside in this channel. So I really, want to see a strong break of that, and that will be the catalyst for probably some dollar weakness, and then we can probably get a bit of a trend going. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for dollar to get the ball rolling. At the moment, kind of teasing the idea, not really getting the breakout yet. There's some nice rejection, potentially nice double top there, but nothing really to write home about. And I'm currently still in Euro USD, which is kind of doing the same thing as well. We did see a nice reaction there yesterday, nice strong bullish engulfing candle, but momentum hasn't really amounted to much. We've just been moving sideways. And if I see momentum turn around with Euro USD, I may look to cut the trade early because, again, I'm taking a bit more of an aggressive position. I'm trying to take the opposite side of this bearish move here. So, if the market does want to stay bearish and that momentum is going to stay intact, then we could really still bleed to the downside. And of course, the dollar can still very much push to the upside as well. You don't necessarily have to reject this level. So if that momentum doesn't turn around soon and we don't see some breakouts, I may close the trade early. But I'm still going to give the trade some room, and I'm still looking for that drop there on dollar. But yeah, I'm looking for some weakness. If you take a look at some other dollar pairs, for example, like pound USD, for example, that is not pound USD at all. Pound USD, for example, that one's been slowly falling to the downside, but overall still very corrective. And in my book, market that's likely going to see some upside. But again, we're still met with the same dilemma in terms of we need to see the break of that channel. And importantly as well, you need to see price break back above that low. If we can see that happen, then yeah, we could probably get a nice trade together for some longs. Otherwise, we could have another sell-off as well. So I do like the upside there for the USD pairs and downside for the dollar itself. But a few things need to come into place before, but probably we will see that momentum. Of course, I entered Euro USD last week, but still looking for some more signs. Dollar CAD still trading at a massive, massive level. Where do you think we can turn around from? Starting to see some rejection there, but if I go to the weekly chart, which I've been talking about for a while, you can see massive, massive level resistance here on the weekly. So again, we could potentially break through this. Levels do break. We don't always hold, but this is a very key level for dollar CAD, which I do expect at least a reaction. I'm not saying the market has to push all the way down to the low here and beyond. It could do, but that's not necessarily the move I'm interested in or the move that is likely to happen. A move that is likely to happen is probably a reaction, maybe back to the low end of this candlestick from last week. Something like that could happen maybe over the course of a couple of weeks. And of course, if DXY does break lower, That should really help this move out. So for dollar CAD, because of where we're trading, I do expect us to break lower. Again, you can see we're kind of ascending here to the upside as well. Very corrective behavior, kind of breaking above, but I do still expect us to see some downside. So across the board, I'm kind of favoring to see some downside for dollar. Dollar CHF as well. This one still very corrective, but I am looking for a push down a little bit higher up though at the high there where we formed that last lower high and had that last big drop. So if you can come back and revisit that area, I do think we'll probably will see some downside there as well. For dollar CHF, maybe to come back and retest the top of that consolidation. That looks like a nice target to me. So yeah, with DXY trading that level, it really has set my bias for a lot of these markets. Some don't look as good as others. Like for example, Aussie dollar. I'm expecting upside, but it's still very, very bearish, and we've broken through some key support there as well. So I wouldn't be looking to take any buys just yet. And the next kind of big levels are all the way down here as well. So I'm not really interested in Aussie dollar to the upside because we've broken through some key structure there. At this point, yes, we might have some upside, but again, expecting a lower high, more downside. As the USD, similar situation there as well. This one broke through that low a long, long time ago, still been steadily falling to the downside. This is probably where we're going to end up next. Might see a correction at some point, but again, expecting us to bleed lower back into the low because all we've been doing is just ranging up and down, up and down. I thought we were going to get the breakout, never happened. So now it looks likely we're going to push back into support. So yeah, USD pairs still sluggish, but I'm looking for some momentum on dollar, hopefully in the next kind of 24 hours. Um, Rita, I don't use this COT data in my trading. Of course, COT data shows you, where the bigger players are buying and selling. If they're buying euro, for example, and they're selling USD, you can probably use that as your bias for a market like Euro USD or whatever they're buying and selling. But in terms of the day to day, it's difficult to use the COT because it's a bit lagging, and you don't know exactly when euro is going to see that push up. It could be this week or the week after or the week after next. So if you're using it in the day to day, I think COT data probably isn't the most useful information. If you're looking for a longer term swing and you're looking to hold a trade for a while, and you're probably trading more daily time frame, then maybe you can use the COT data to your advantage a bit better. Um, but yeah, I'm currently long in Euro USD, but I didn't factor in the COT data for that decision. Looking businessy today. Appreciate it, Holy One. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, we'll go through some yen pairs at some point as well. What's up, DS? Good morning. Hope you're doing well. So yeah, as I mentioned, um, your USD currently sitting in a long position, which is just going kind of sideways, similar to what the DXY is doing, to be honest, because we did see that initial reaction, which was good, but it just hasn't really amounted to much. So I need price to really get going for me to hang on to this trade. If that momentum doesn't sustain, I may close the trade a little bit early. As I said, it's a pretty aggressive move, and unless that momentum really comes into play, it's probably not a good sign for the buyers. And of course, the same thing for the dollar. But if we can get that close below, we should be in business. So that's the key thing I'm looking at. We might kind of move sideways until Friday, though, which is not ideal either, because maybe the market's waiting for NFP. I'm hoping we can see the downside before then. That's really what I'm hoping for. I've had a brief look at the indices as well. Some did see a bit more downside. US 30 is kind of still but I still do like the buys here for US 30. I'm still very bullish for this one. Again, looking at the higher time frames, the market is still very much in that bullish kind of climate. So as long as the market keeps those higher highs and higher lows going, I don't see any reason why I would look to change that bias. Again, if structure break, lower highs or excessive bearish momentum, I'll reanalyze and go again. But right now, I'll still be very much long bias. There's a nice little level of support here, which I do think we can get a bounce at. And it does look like price may see another move to downside anyway. So looking at some upside for the US 30, but we may push a little bit lower. US 100 did have a nice move over the past few days, starting to stall out a little bit. We are getting quite corrective. As you can see, every time you do break the high, the market does struggle quite a lot. Break the high, back down, break the high, back down. So it's definitely a sign of a market that is struggling. I do think we'll still make it to the high here, though, at 2,700, we'll call it. So I'm still expecting NAS to get back to that high, but maybe a situation when we get there and we have a bit of a meltdown a little bit as price goes for a bit of breather. So yes, still bullish, but not really the most impressive trend in the world. So with NAS, I think we'll probably get another pullback, which is good because it probably means another opportunity to find a buy and then take that higher again on a higher low. Um, but yeah, I still expect us to get to 2,700. And looking at the S&P, I think that one's, yeah, seen a bit of downside, but yeah, I wouldn't trade this one anyway. We had a lovely retest here of the high, and that ship is now sailed. So I wouldn't be looking for any entries at this particular point anyway. It's kind of back inside that range. Not the best time to be looking to find any trades there really. So yeah, generally speaking, with the indices still very bullish, still looking at more upside, but um, yeah, not really seeing opportunities to trade them, at least on my timeframes anyway. I think S&P, this was the best time to get involved. You know, on the retest of the high, now we're back in the range, not ideal. US 30, we still do have a bit of room to the downside, so I like the buy there. And with US 100, that one's kind of left the station a little bit. Had a nice retest here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, just about the retest of the high, so that looked good last week. Now you're probably looking at another correction then for a move up higher. But yeah, overall, still bullish on the indices. Okay, so we'll go through some yen pairs. Aman said he's short on Aussie yen, so we'll take a look at that one. Holy One. Okay, entered US 30 18 minutes ago. Okay. DAX 30 hit TP an hour ago. Okay, nice. Haven't actually looked at the DAX. Okay, Naz, you enter. Is it a long position or a short position? Let us know what you're looking at. We'll take a look at the DAX as well. Let me just go through Aussie yen first. Let me know what you're looking at. Man, okay, you're short Aussie yen. So with Aussie yen, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the current price action. I do think there's room to the downside if you are looking to short it. I do think there's a lot of room for us to fall into potentially, but I'm kind of waiting for price to make the move and then I'll follow along. Because if I drop to the 4 hour right now, it does look like price is just consolidating really. So I don't really see a good short opportunity, at least on the time frames I'm looking at, which is the 4 hour time frame, because of how sideways we are looking. Now, I do expect us to have that big sell at some point, but what I'll be looking for is that big break of structure and then looking for the low highs to follow along. This, of course, we have to be a bit patient. It'll take some time to develop, but it will just make the opportunity so much easier to spot. It'll be a lot cleaner, conservative, and easier to base a trade from there as well. Shorting right now, as price is kind of squeezing inside that range, sure, you could catch a nice break to the downside, but it's a little bit more 50-50 and difficult to predict as well, especially with us moving sideways. Not a big price action. I like my trending markets with a lot of momentum. So that's the momentum I'm looking for before I would start looking to short. But we're at a nice area, I have to say. We're at a nice area where we could see a move down. You know, the market has had a push, pull, another push again. So we're coming back to some heights where the market's going to struggle, which it is evidently doing. And there could be some nice sells. There's a lot of room for us to fall into, possibly back into the low. But I wait for price to instigate that move, and then I'll look for the pullbacks afterwards on a retest somewhere, potentially the retest of this low here. And that will look like a really nice setup to me. But shorting now, not sure about that because the market's still very choppy and it's 50-50 which way we kind of break out to. So that's the only thing I don't like about the shorts right now with Aussie yen. Okay, into US 100 long. So yeah, I'm still bullish on the indices. NAS 100, I like the upside, but I'm favoring a little bit of a deeper pullback first before I would look for some long, just so I can kind of flow with the higher lows here of the market because we are kind of moving in this ascending channel here. So this is where I like to buy from. But regardless, I do think there is a move to the upside to be had back into 2700s, and that's what I do think we'll probably end up in the next few days. It just depends probably what USD wants to do, how bearish or bullish USD will be. But the market's pretty likely to get there. US 30 and S&P have already seen all-time highs. So I do think NAS is definitely overdue another push to the upside. It's just about where it will happen from. And even if it does move a little bit against you and push you down, you can always look for re-entries to get involved. Did you use your 50 strategy, Holy One, to get into the trade for the NAS longs? But yeah, generally speaking, I'm pretty bullish on NAS as well. And if you take a look at the DAX as well, DAX has seen some nice upside. I was talking about some buys here yesterday for it to come back and retest support. Unfortunately, didn't quite happen there. The market is just still too bullish. And looks like it's almost gone and hit the high there. So with the DAX, I think the ship is sailed really. I wouldn't be looking to find any bullish entries now unless you're on the lower time frames and looking to kind of scalp almost because these are previous major swing highs there. So I wouldn't want to be buying now. But we are pulling back into some structure. So yeah, that's our swing low there. We could pull back, retest the high, and do that again. So if you're on the lower time frames, you might find some opportunities here. Maybe as we coming back and retest this level here. So if you're like 30, 15 minute, might find some nice longs down the DAX. But as someone who's looking for that bigger move, at least from the 4 hour, yeah, that ship is definitely sailed there. So yeah, in terms of the direction, it's still bullish though. It's just not the best time to buy, but still definitely bullish. And probably at some point we'll see some new highs as well. So yeah, looking across the board, I'm expecting us to keep pushing higher. But yeah, definitely a bearish dollar will help that move though. Okay, broke the H450 and respected it for the buy. Okay. Let me look at the 50. Pretty sure that is the 50. Yeah, it is. Okay, so yeah, it broke above it, respected above it. So I'd imagine you would look to close the trade if it was to break back underneath it then. But yeah, I mean, still looking pretty bullish to me. If it does have that bigger pullback, it may just eventually close back above the 50. So I'd imagine that would be your re-entry signal to get back involved. But yeah, in terms of direction in the play, I fully agree. I'm looking for NAS to push back into the high that 2700. It just depends how big of a pullback it wants. But yeah, pretty bullish and expecting a bit more upside. Um, yeah, and I'm not too sure what you're referring to there, but declining DXY. You talking about bearish DXY or not too sure what you're talking about? Okay, so you enter the CAD yen as well at 7 a.m. Okay, close to your red line as well. Okay, on fire right now, Holy One. So yeah, with CAD yen, I mean, across the board for the yen pairs, we did see a bit of upside yesterday, didn't we? We were looking pretty bearish on stream. It looked like price was just filling that gap from the weekend. A lot of the yen pairs were doing that. CAD yen, one of them as well. Did we fill it to the pip? I mean, more or less, because the gap kind of started from here, because that's the last candle before we opened. So we didn't quite do that, but generally speaking, I would say that gap is filled there. The market is very rarely perfect to the pip. Uh, yeah, we did fill that gap, and now the market is looking pretty bullish again. So momentum is looking pretty strong with the yen pairs. Yen is looking particularly weak right now. CAD yen really strong close to the side. Pound JPY, I'm pretty sure that was looking pretty strong as well. Yeah, so I mean, Aussie yen did close strong, but it's just kind of within a range, so I'm not quite sold on that one just yet. Strong closure, but not really in an area of importance right now. So not really looking too much into that until things develop. But yeah, momentum is definitely pretty strong. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, again, the Discord is not necessarily for signals per se as well. It's generally for like ideas and what people are looking to do. If you want to share the trades you're taking, you can do that as well. But it's more just for people to learn and discuss and share opportunities because people will be looking at different styles and might take a little bit of a nugget there as well. So so yeah, but yeah, the Discords in terms of the trade environment, I think is pretty decent. People sharing good ideas, what they're looking at. So I'm really liking the Discord, and of course, if you guys are not in the Discord, feel free to check it out. Link to that is in the description and also the top of the chat. To join the Discord, you can share opportunities, discuss other opportunities with other traders, include myself as well. So if you're not in there, make sure you go check it out. But yeah, we have seen some nice closures there with some of the yen pairs, but some yen pairs that look a lot better than the others because Aussie yen in a range, New Zealand yen in a range there as well. So even though it's a nice close and it's steadily putting some high lows, it looks like maybe we're getting ready for a breakout. I'm just going to wait for the high to break before I cement anything. And if you can get a strong break at the high, great. That could provide some nice opportunities and some pullbacks and some nice high lows there as well. So it could be some nice long opportunities there, but I wouldn't get too excited just yet about a couple of them. Swiss yen I do really like, although that one looks like it's leaving me behind a little bit. Yeah, I was just flying to the upside. I was hoping to see a retest of the high this week, which still could happen. Maybe if we have a big drop for the yen pairs, we might see that retest. But at the moment, it's looking very bullish. So yeah, I'm gonna have to wait on the sidelines for that pullback to happen. What's up, DS? Currently in an Aussie Chef sell. Okay, looking to hold till 0.56227. Okay. Um, Trading of the weekly, by the way. Okay, so you trading the weekly chart, or you using the weekly chart for like a bias? But in terms of Aussie CHF, I was shorting this one actually a couple of weeks back, but I did get stopped out and break even over here, entered over there. It was a nice move, but the range high just took me out, unfortunately. But yeah, lovely break to the downside. And that's the thing with the CHF pairs. They go sideways for a long time and eventually they do give you a nice little flush there to the downside. So really nice drop there for Aussie CHF. And I do think we're still likely to keep pushing down. My original target for Aussie CHF was coming back into this low here. Very strong support. Big rejection there, big rejection there, big rejection there, and of course another one there as well. So I think we're likely to keep falling to that next big level, which is around 0.56223, which is yeah, pretty much exactly where you said 0.56227. So pretty much the same place. So yeah, that's where I'll be expecting the market to get to from a weekly standpoint as well. I really like last week's candle close. Look at that, really nice momentum there. No wick to the downside as well. Lovely wick to the upside as well. So the market has tried to push on, it's failed. Nice retest of the low there, but essentially the bears taking control. So Aussie CHF to me looks like a nice sell, and the momentum from last week is, I think, is pretty significant as well, and that's probably what's going to take us to the downside. So yeah, I would be looking to hold to that low really with Aussie CHF if I was still in the trade. We might see some pullbacks. The market's probably going to have another weird consolidation before it does go and hit the target. Probably might have a steep pullback as well. So don't be surprised about that because that's what Aussie CHF is all about. But I think in terms of probability, anyway, of course, nothing's guaranteed. But in terms of probability, there's a good chance we'll probably get there. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's come back and maybe retest this low, maybe break through it a little bit and then push down. But likely, I don't know where you've entered and where your stop loss is, but yeah, I would favor another big push to the downside for CHF. That's the thing about trading range of markets as well. The direction becomes very, very clear, especially when you are a technical based trader and you don't use fundamentals to come up for bias. Because with me, I'm a technical based trader and I use technicals to create a bias and I use technicals to enter a trade and exit a trade and manage a trade as well. So if you're using technicals to create a bias, you have to have something that dictates that bias, whether you're bullish, bearish, or kind of neutral, staying up the market. And to me, that's what a trend does. That's what market structure does for me. Identifying a trend creates a bias because when you do have a bearish trend or a bullish trend, at any given point within a trend, the market is more likely to continue the trend rather than suddenly reverse. Because as many times the market will continue a trend, but it will only reverse once. If the market is falling, the downside, it's only going to reverse once. Of course, it will have minor pullbacks and upside like this, but we know that every time the market does that, unless it does reverse, it's going to form a lower high at some point and continue lower high and continue lower high and continue so on and so forth until the market does reverse. So at any given point within the trend, we're more likely to continue than reverse. So you can create a bias with that in terms of probability. We're more likely going to continue the trend rather than reverse. So if you're looking for opportunities, you want to be focused with the sells. You want to be focused on taking selling opportunities until you get the sign that okay, the trend is no more, or structure, or the trend is fatigued, and you can look to back away or maybe switch that bias around. So trends for me are really important because it just makes the market simple. Like when we're in this state here and the market's just falling, I know I'm looking for sells. Sure, there will be some buying opportunities, some counter trend opportunities, but there will be short term, and you're not looking to hold into that trade for too long because you understand the trend is still pretty bearish as well. So that's what trends really give to me anyway in terms of a bias, and it makes everything a lot easier in terms of trading. And then you just need to come up with a plan how you want to execute on that trend, because there's many ways to look at trends. We've discussed moving averages. They're great ways to look at entering trades or exiting trades in a trend if market breaks back above or back below the moving average. You can look at Fibonacci as well, from a high to a low. You map out your swing points and you use them to your advantage. There we go. I like using the 50 and above, or below if you're buying. So 50, 0.618, 0.786. Those are levels where I'm looking to take trades from, because at least we've had a deeper pullback, particularly in FX anyway. Maybe not so much with the indices and crypto and whatnot. But in the FX, we do tend to have a lot of deep pullbacks. The market doesn't trend so strongly all the time. So looking for the deeper pullbacks is normally quite a profitable move. And the benefit of it as well is the bigger risk to rewards, because if we're going to have a deeper pullback and the trend's still going to continue, we're still going to get back to the high or back to the low. That means if you can get an entry, you're just going to ride that all the way back to the high. You're looking at a really nice risk to reward there. So that's the benefits of looking for deeper pullbacks as well. But yeah, once you've identified your trend, you identified your momentum, the direction of the market, then you're just looking at techniques to get into trades. Some people like trend line breaks. So if the market's creating a nice counter trend line, you wait for that to break, look for entries there. Moving averages, you can look at moving average crossovers as well. When the market's overbought against the trend or oversold against the trend, you can use that as well. So there's a million different ways to find entries and ride momentum. But once you've done the hard part, which is working out the direction you want to trade in, and you're just waiting for your plan to come into place. And again, nothing's black and white as well, because sometimes you're going to see crystal clear trends. Other times you're going to see some trends which are a bit shaky and um, a bit shaky, not really worth following. I'm trying to think of a good situation um, of that. If I go with, like, for example, let's say euro pound. Euro pound. There's a nice bearish trend on euro pound, but it was very, very shaky and probably not the best trend to follow. So this is the daily chart for euro pound here. You can see overall the market has been pretty bearish. Lower lows and lower highs. You can see the major swing points there. So again, you can identify that and say the market's bearish and predominantly looking for sell opportunities. But this is definitely a market which you kind of want to hold back a little bit and be careful, because if you're looking for, let's say, An impulsive trend, you're looking for sharp pullbacks, this is the worst market to look to trade. Yes, the market is bearish and trending, but you're going to see very kind of rigid, very shaky pullbacks, prolonged, very corrective, and then you're going to get the big moves here. And the difficult thing is to pinpoint the tops on these moves here. There's a very high chance you get into the trade too early, the market will stop you out and continue as well. So you need to be careful which trends you look to follow. Some are going to be a lot better to follow than others. Just because the market is trending doesn't mean it's worthwhile trading. If you compare it with some of the yen pairs, for example, like if we go to euro yen, you can see the trend in 2022, 2023, very, very clean, nice pullbacks there, definitely worthwhile trading. And even within this trend, it did have some times where the trend was a little bit shaky and a bit more difficult to trade. And when we broke out here and broke out there, the trend was a little bit more sensible, moving cleaner and easier to find the pullbacks. So it's all about timing as well and picking the right time to get involved. But when the market is ranging, at least for me anyway, that's the time I go on pause. What's up, Tom? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Okay, well, celebrity, we'll take a look at gold. I forgot to go through gold earlier. Take a look at gold and silver. Okay, I'll go through CAD as well. Fair enough. Might as well, everyone. Okay, we'll take a look at Euro USD as well. Yeah, I know that, everyone. Don't you worry about that. Lockdown, what's up? Morning. Hope you're well. Close shorts on euro and pounds are not moving. Funny thing is, I might close Euro USD longs because it's not moving as well. The XY release hit 104.5 today. It could do. Depends what, because I do think we got a bit of dollar news this afternoon. I mean, the big news event is Friday, of course, with NFP. But I think we got, was it PCE today? No, we got Jolts job openings at 2 o'clock, and the goods trade balance at 12:30 actually. I mean, not biggest news events, but it can definitely cause a bit of movement in the market, so I'll keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I'll take a look at gold quickly. I was meant to go through that a while ago, but I completely forgot about it. So yeah, in terms of gold, yeah, this one just pushed the upside again, and I mean, it hasn't created new highs yet. It's just testing the high right now, so it hasn't created new highs yet. So if it was to suddenly pull back all the way into this high here, I will still very much be looking to buy the market and hopefully take it to new highs. But I think it's a bit unreasonable for me to expect such a big pullback at this moment in time. So if you're trading gold, there's just a lot of momentum in it right now. So I wouldn't be so afraid to take very aggressive trades. Like, for example, the market's pretty consistent with these high lows here. I'd be looking to try and anticipate another one of those forming, maybe on the retest of this structure here. We push down, reject it a little bit, higher low, Bob's your uncle, probably another push, breaking through the highs here. Now, if this was like an FX market trading at all-time highs, I would be a little bit careful taking buys all the way up here, even on the lower time frames as well, because most of the time when the FX is at all-time high, we do tend to come straight back down sooner or later, or all-time low, we come back up. Maybe not right away, but pretty quickly after. But gold being gold, and in these conditions, I wouldn't be afraid to take some buys here. So if you're looking at maybe the 30-minute or the 50-minute time frame, there might be another pullback intraday, which could provide some nice opportunities for some longs, either later this afternoon, maybe Asian session this evening, or maybe London tomorrow. But generally in this area, looking to try and catch that next higher low and probably the breakout of the high there. That's kind of what I'm looking at for gold. If you're looking at my setup, which is the retest of the high here, I just don't think that's pretty likely anymore. If it does get there, great, but I don't think we will. And silver, unfortunately, just looked like it missed the boat because I was looking to buy from here. I remember on stream or trading around here, it was very, very close to getting the retest, but it looks like we're just looking a little bit bullish right now. So again, Silver still may give us a drop to the downside, and I'll be here for it 100%. But it may be a situation where I just missed out on that opportunity, unfortunately. I'll wait and see because little I can do, I can't really force it. I've mapped out the opportunity. I'm waiting for it to happen. See either it does happen or it doesn't. But regardless, I have to stay to my plan and wait for the opportunity to arise. And silver's not the only pair I'm looking at. So if I do miss that trade, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, that is definitely the opportunity I'm looking at. But in terms of the bias, very, very bullish. We've seen a massive break of structure past this high here. So basically just looking for that momentum to sustain and continue. The trend is really clear to me. Momentum is looking clear. So I'd only be looking for buys here with silver. Just need to wait and see if we can get that retest. But yeah, looking a little bit bullish at the moment. Um, so yeah, hopefully we can get a pullback. Um, okay, we go through Euro USD and I'll take a look at Aussie CAD as well. Um, yes, I do sometimes lock down. I do sometimes trade Euro Pound. It's not a pair that I actively trade. I would say it's probably one of my least traded pairs: Euro Pound, Aussie New Zealand Dollar, CAD CHF, Pound CHF, Euro CHF, Aussie CAD. Those probably my least traded pairs, but I do trade them if they're set up because every single market I look at is all the majors, all the minors, gold and silver. So if there's an opportunity in any one of those pairs, I'll look to trade it 100%. But the way I trade, I do see less setups on pairs like Euro Pound compared with like Pound Yen or Euro USD. So I trade it less because of that situation, and it's a bit more of a choppy pair anyway. So if there's a opportunity on like Pound USD compared to Euro Pound, I'll choose Pound USD 10 times out of 10. But if there's a good opportunity, I won't turn it down. It's just it doesn't come around frequently for me on the time frames I trade. But yeah, if you're looking for mean reversion and you're looking to trade kind of ranging opportunities, Euro pound is a good pair to look at. Aussie New Zealand dollar is another good pair to look at as well. But I'm a bit looking for momentum and trend, which is a little bit hard to come by sometimes on Euro pound, unfortunately. But anyway, Tom, you said you got shorts on Aussie CAD at zero point 0.1, 0.916, which is around here. Okay, looking good. Looking like you caught the break there with that support level. The market's looking pretty bullish. I was touching upon this one yesterday. Where's your targets for the trade? How far are you looking to take it? Because I've highlighted out this channel. I think you probably would have roughly a similar target. I do think price is likely to come back and test along that channel. Now, we could very much go and break through the channel and see a really big move potentially. That is a big possibility. But I think as we start to come into 0.905, zero point 0.9, I think that is definitely an area where you probably want to start thinking about closing some profit or at least removing some risk and trading a stop. I know you're not looking for a pretty big move. Your trades are normally a bit more intraday, so I think maybe your target's going to be around this area here somewhere. But it's really a nice move, really nice drop. I think the only kind of thing that would be a little bit annoying is if price does come back for a retest and then continue, because I figure you probably will be break even by now. So you probably don't want to see price come back for a retest. But then if it does come back for a retest, you might find some opportunities to get back in the trade if you are taking that break even. So it might not be the worst thing in the world. You might just find a re-entry to take advantage of the same trade. But yeah, in terms of what I'm expecting for Aussie CAD, I had a nice kind of rejection of the upper end of that channel. So naturally looking for price to come back into the lower end, back into this area of demand support around 0.905. And now that we've got the strong break of that support level, I'd anticipate more downside anyway. So yeah, shorts look good and not far away from the low there. Not far away from the low at all. And yeah, so Euro USD currently in along with this one, but not moving too well. Momentum is still a little bit back and forth, and I may close the trade early unless momentum continues in the next kind of few hours, because I got in last Thursday, did see a nice move, price came back for another bounce, and we got another strong close on Monday. But literally, since that candle has closed, all the market has done is just kind of rebound on that same resistance, and it hasn't really done much. So unless momentum steps in out of nowhere and I see dollar start falling, I may close the trade early because, as I've said, we've had a really big drop to the downside. Momentum's with the bears, not with the bulls. So if I'm going to take these kind of counter trend moves, momentum is a key thing I'm looking for to come into my direction. If the bullish momentum doesn't sustain, it's a sign that the bears are still in control and can still easily sell off some more as well. And of course, looking at the same with the dollar, the same situation. You know, the bulls are very much in control. But we have hit a level which was struggling to break. You can see the double top there. Nice rejection on Wednesday last week. Nice rejection again Monday. So it's a sign that the market's starting to struggle. You know, as you approach this big level of resistance, which is 104.5, but we haven't really had the break of that ascending channel yet, which for me is probably going to be the catalyst that actually gets this trade moving. So I want to see price break below this, and then at that point, that's probably when I can start look trail stops and anticipate euro to keep rising. But if it just wants to have another push on the low, the rebound, and the push up, then I'm going to have to back away and probably close the trade early. It might mean that I just look for re-entries maybe tomorrow. Maybe price is another push down, rejects it again, gives me another signal, and then I get back involved. So that could be the case. But because it is a bit counter trend and there's still a lot of bullish momentum in the market, I'm not trying to force things too much there with the dollar. So that's why I'm going to keep an eye out with euro. In terms of the yen pairs, so yeah, yen pairs have been looking pretty bullish as well. They've been steadily pushing to the upside. Pound yen, another strong close down the 4 hour. Again, I'm not quite sold yet on the buys just yet because, number one, the market is a little bit stretched now on the daily chart. We had a pretty big move up, so now's not the time for me to be looking to buy, at least with my style anyway. I know if you're on the lower time frames, you're looking for those shorter pullbacks. I mean, I was talking about the retest of this area here last week. Didn't quite get the retest there, but it has seen some nice upside. So I think with pound yen coming back to some of these areas on the left there, now's the time where potentially we could see some sellers stepping into the market. I don't think necessarily we'll see such a big move anymore because we completely obliterated that high. We might just see a pullback and then the market continues, and then this will become the trade I'm interested in. Possibly the swing back to that high there, maybe, or somewhere near to it. We'll discuss when it actually does set up. But pound yen coming back into some areas of resistance. I'm anticipating some downside. We touched on Aussie yen as well. So again, with this one, waiting for the breakout of that consolidation, either to the upside or to the downside, and then I can discuss some opportunities shortly afterwards. New Zealand yen as well, waiting for price to break out of this consolidation. Again, whether it's upside or the downside, I'm not too worried about because either way are going to be nice opportunities. But yeah, I really need to see this one break out because otherwise it's a little bit stale. Jay, we'll take a look at pound yen and dollar yen. In terms of dollar yen, this one as well looking a tad bullish today. So not as strong close as some of the other 4-hour candles, but looking fairly strong. It does look like this one is trying to break through that weekly level. So I'm going to wait to see how we progress, because that's the main reason why I'm not looking to buy the yen pairs, at least in terms of a swing bias anyway this week, is because we have closed back into major resistance here. And we very much could respect that by the end of the week and be looking very bearish, or we could be breaking through and looking very bullish. And that's the case, then yeah, pullback become clear, and now we're expecting a lot more upside, as this level now is going to be acting as support. And there's probably a high chance we come back and test some of these levels on the left, resistance up there, and possibly the swing high there as well. So there's multiple targets to look at if we are going to break high, and there's multiple targets to the downside if we're going to break lower. but I need a little bit more before I do kind of look for those opportunities. If you're on an intraday level, I can see the buys, they still do look okay. You know, if you got the low high there, I said yesterday, if price can push back into this kind of 0.618 area and kind of test this area here, which you kind of just missed out on, I still think that's a nice buy in the short term, but I wouldn't look to hold for too long because we're still trading in that indecisive area on the weekly chart. But if you're looking at riding current momentum, I do like the buys here. Maybe back to that high and call it a day. Still a lot of pips to take advantage of as well. And then looking at like CAD I'm still seeing a lot of momentum as well, but very close to resistance. So yeah, generally speaking, yen pairs still showing a lot of momentum. In terms of the big swing moves, I need bigger retracement before I can buy them. Euro yen as well, that did see some nice upside, but it is starting to look to struggle a little bit at the heights there. So I do think at some point we'll go for a bigger pullback. This one as well, maybe to retest this level here. Price could look good there as well, around 163. We can reinvestigate the buys there. But right now, I think the buyers have already had their fun. So kind of backing away from euro yen, and hopefully we can see another pullback at some later stage. Is anyone else trading any yen pairs at the moment? I think for me, CHF JPY is still my favorite yen pair. If I can get by with that one, I'll be very, very happy because this one kind of ticks all the boxes. We've got the high over there, so there's still a lot of room for us to trade into as well. Back to 179, back to 180. We've broken through some nice 4-hour resistance here. We haven't come back for the retest. So some nice fresh levels to buy from should we get there. Yeah, but it's a bit of a waiting game because price is looking pretty bullish right now. And we might just leave myself in the dust there a little bit. But I do like the buys here for Swiss yen because this one has broken through major resistance as well. So I don't really have that to worry with. Why do I keep pressing to? There we go. So yeah, that is where I'm at with the yen pairs. Okay, we'll take a look at the DAX Kojo as well at some point. Okay, yeah. Yeah, of course, they're very similar pairs. New Zealand CAD and Aussie CAD, they both make the same move. Okay, Kadam, we'll take a look at New Zealand CHF as well. I'll go through the DAX first, though. So yeah, with this one, I think the boat is kind of sell. Let me know what you're looking at with the DAX, but I think this one has been pretty bullish. It's likely to create some new highs at some point. So yeah, I would expect us to keep pushing higher up, but we're so close to the high right now, so it's difficult to find some nice entries with a decent risk to reward. You know, with targeting the high there, I think we can break through, but in terms of managing the trade, probably would have to look to secure some partials or at least trade a stop as we approach that high, because we definitely could sell off from there again. I did mention that maybe on like the 30 or the 15-minute time frame, there might still be some opportunities on the retest of this level here. We are still pretty consistent with the higher lows. Really nice break kind of early hours of this morning. Should we see a pullback to retest that high, could see the next higher low and the next buy. So that could be a nice opportunity probably in the 30-minute or 50-minute chart if you really want to get a decent risk to reward. Otherwise, I do think price is likely going to push back to the high there anyway and probably see some new highs at some point this week as well. But if you're looking for a bigger swing, I think that ship has sailed. You know, kind of ideally, I really want to be in the trade since we're so close to the high already. So I want to be looking for buys anymore. I'll be kind of hoping to see the next bullish move and trying to catch the next pullback afterwards. Because we have been really consistent with the higher lows here. So there's a good chance we could see another opportunity for a pullback, but it might take some time to form. But yeah, in the low time frames, there's still a little bit of room to capitalize on. But yeah, you want to be in the low time frames to really make that move count. Okay, so we'll talk about Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD. So yeah, with those two, of course, they're very similar pairs. We went through Aussie CAD about to sell back into the low, looking really good after the break of that low, break of that structure. Haven't looked at New Zealand CAD. Okay. What you mean, price has not broken through the low yet. Yeah, but that could be a nice sign though, because if Aussie CAD has broken through the low, there's a good chance that New Zealand CAD will probably break through the low as well. Um, so this one's kind of lagging behind Aussie CAD, therefore it could be a nice opportunity to look at because those two currency pairs, 8, 9 times out of 10, do the same thing. So with the break of Aussie CAD, you're probably going to see the break of New Zealand CAD as well. And when it happens, it could be some nice retest to capitalize on. And I'm looking at a very similar opportunity as well in the high time frames. Both of them have some nice ascending channels here, which I do think are going to come back and test the low. If I quickly jump over to Aussie CAD, you can see Aussie CAD has had this lovely range. I do think we're coming back into the low of it. New Zealand CADs, I think we're coming back into the low of it as well. We just yet to see the break of the support, but when it does happen, which I think is pretty likely to, some retests and pullbacks afterwards look pretty good in my eyes. And yeah, expecting another drop back into that low. And that could be a nice trade maybe at some point this week. But yeah, I do think downside is a bit more likely. Okay, Kadam, we'll take a look at New Zealand CHF for you. Close below the support level. Yes, I did actually see that on the weekly chart there. Okay, waiting for confirmation. Can you advise what to look for? So, yeah, the thing with New Zealand CHF is that it's a nice break. It's not the biggest break in the world. It's not a break enough to get me excited about looking to actually short. Because the way I look for breakouts is I want to see price, form a level, test it once or twice, and then really let fly that level. Something like this is a real nice standout confirmation to me. The price is well and truly broken through that level. So now I can look at my pullbacks, my retest, and then some longs. When you've got a level in the market which price just about breaks, so something like this, that to me is not really a breakout of confidence and nothing that I'll look to follow. Not that it doesn't always work. Sometimes you do see shallow breaks and a quick little retest and price does fly. But those are not really the trades I'm after. I want price to really commit above the levels, which sometimes means you don't always get the pullback because sometimes the market is just very bullish and it just flies. There's a few examples on gold with that really of price giving you really large breakouts and not giving you the retest. But when you do get the retest, it actually gives you some really nice opportunities. So with New Zealand CHF here, for example, yes, we just about saw the break of it, but it's very minuscule, and I wouldn't be looking for retest there because at the moment the market's had a pretty big drop since the high here. So the market is a little bit overstretched. So if you could get a bigger drop, then the market has a chance to take a breather, pull back, and kind of be a bit extended to the upside with the pullback, and then we can find some shorts based off that, and that opportunity becomes really nice. But right now, at least for a swing setup anyway, I wouldn't be looking at a breaking retest of that low. Maybe if you're looking for a short-term trade, because the market has been really consistent with all of these lower highs in the lower time frames. So you got a lower high there, another one there, another one there, another one there, so on and so forth. So we've been pretty consistent with the lower highs, yes. And there could be another rejection of that and another push back into the low. So you might see this, another rejection there this afternoon, and another push back into the low. But I wouldn't be looking for a bigger move than that, really. Even though, yes, we've got the break of the support level on the weekly chart or the daily chart, I wouldn't be looking for a bigger move than that because the market's still very stretched. We haven't seen a convincing breakout, and to be honest, I wouldn't be too surprised if price was to break straight back above and give us a strong daily candle closing back above the level, and then just like that, the setup is now invalid. So yeah, I like my big breakouts. These are the ones I look to follow because they're confident and they tend to work out a little bit better than the shallow ones. So that's why I focus on those. And this is just a bit of a shallow breakout, so I wouldn't follow that just yet. So yeah, I would want price to keep falling and then look for the pullback at some point. But it's a good idea though, and you got the higher time frame backing on your side with that momentum as well. So if that is going to keep dropping, it will give you a nice opportunity at some point, and you've got a lot of room to sell into as well. You know, you're kind of expecting price to push back into zero point 0.5, which is a really big psychological level down there as well. So there's a lot of room for us to fall into if we get that move. But that's one thing I wanted to mention actually is that when you're looking for your breakouts, you want them to be decisive. You want them to be confident as well. And it's a bit like with Bitcoin as well, but because Bitcoin did have a breakout like last week outside the channel, so we did kind of get a closure above the channel there, which is the trend line. But it was nothing that got me excited. Nothing that I was like, okay, now it's time to buy. Of course, in hindsight, you can see it did have that kind of shallow breakout and retest. And as I said before, the shallow breakout and retest, they do work sometimes. Of course, everything will work sometimes. But from my experience, the bigger breakouts, the bigger retests work better because they're more decisive and have a lot more momentum about them. But now it looks like we are getting that bigger breakout. So retests on the high there look good. I still want price to probably push a little bit higher up, but then it'll look a lot better and something in which I would like to follow. But from experience, I've been stopped out many times just by trying to take that quick kind of breakout, and it's never really worked well for me. So looking for bigger breakouts. I'm trying to think of another example. Um, Aussie yen is a nice one, I think. This one sort of had a minor breakout, yeah, on the 4 hour chart. Let me just get rid of my drawings here so you can see a little bit better. So you can see with this one here, if I draw it to the wick there, we had a minor breakout there. So technically you got the break of structure there, which is great. Got the breakout, but again, it's just nothing decisive, nothing concrete. If this candle was a really big candle and we followed up with another big candle up here, that's a big sign the market is bullish and likely to continue going. So then if it was to pull back and retest that level, then that makes so much more sense in terms of the buys. Again, doesn't mean it will work 100% because it won't, but the probability will be more in your favor, and you would have more success taking break and retest. But these type of breakouts are more prone to fake outs, which is why I kind of avoid them and don't really look to trade them much. And you're kind of seeing that really with New Zealand CHF right now. So I'll be very careful with that. Um, Typing in the wrong place. So yeah, I'll be very careful with that type of breakout there for New Zealand CHF. I'm definitely bearish, but I need a lot more than that. I think some intraday sells look good, trying to follow that structure there, but I wouldn't look for the biggest swing just yet. I wouldn't look for the biggest swing just yet. But if we can continue falling, then hopefully you can see that momentum pick up. No problem, Tom. Okay, looking for a drop into 0.8130 for NZD CAD. Whereabouts is that? 8130. Okay, so pretty much that low then. Yeah, I would say there's a strong possibility we do that. Of course, we've got to break through this kind of trend line confidence first, but at that point, you're probably gonna see a move back to the low end here. That might just be a big kind of correction for price to continue falling. Same with Aussie CAD as well. Might be a big kind of correction for price to continue falling. But yeah, definitely looking bearish for Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD at the moment. And Aussie CAD looking a little bit better of the two right now. What's up? Just living. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good afternoon to you. Still good morning over here. Um, how's the momentum on Euro USD? Okay, so momentum not looking great, depending how that 4 hour candle closes, because the clocks actually went back, which I completely forgot about. So the candlesticks in the UK are closing at 9 a.m. rather than 10 a.m. So this 4 hour candlestick will close in 2 hours at 1 p.m. So I'll see how we close because we had some really nice momentum on Monday yesterday, which looked good, but we just haven't seen the continuation of that. So if you are going to see momentum pick the other way, I'll close the trade early and look to see if I can get some of the retest um, and get back into the trade. And of course, if it just breaks through, then of course I'll stay out the way. But let's have a quick look at the dollar. Is that seeing some momentum to the upside at the moment? A little bit, nothing crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if we suddenly just break out of a big 4 hour candle out of nowhere. Um, so yeah, I'll give it some room. But that 4 hour candle just closed, so that's got another 4 hours to go before the next one does close. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on that. Um, how's GJ? You're in a sell. Okay, pound gen sell. So not bad. I think it's a little bit aggressive given the fact that pound yen has just been pushing up for a while now. But it is trading in an area where I do think we could go for a bit of a breather, but I'll look for a little bit more signs that the market is rejecting before I get involved. Because if the market does push right back into the high there and start to reject, then great. There could be some really nice sells if the market does turn around. Although I don't think it will be for too long. I think we could probably get a move back into this area as a realistic area, and then maybe price finds support there, and we can push back up. Maybe we can discuss that at a later date. So I do think there's room to the downside for I do think there's room to the downside for pound yen, but because of the structure here, I'm not really seeing signs that I would sell just yet. Um, did you sell this afternoon or did you sell? I mean, this afternoon because you're saying good afternoon. It's still morning over here. Did you sell this morning for you? I don't know where you're living. To be fair, um, yeah. How long ago did you sell? I assume you probably sold somewhere around here, which nice place, yes, but the market is just so bullish, and I wouldn't be surprised if you were to do something like that, which is where I want the development to come in for pound yen. So yeah, it's a nice area for a short, but I would need a little bit more development before selling it. You bought euro, yet I sold it. I know what a weird world, Simbanilla. What a weird world. Um, yesterday's gap hasn't. Oh, okay, so that's the reason why you're looking to sell because yesterday's gap hasn't fully closed. Which is true to be honest, because I had a look across the board with the M pairs, and a lot of them kind of fill like 80% of the gap and didn't fully do it. And yeah, pound yen's one of them. We actually kind of got halfway. So yeah, there is still reason for price to come back down and potentially go and fill the gap. I don't really look at gap fills in terms of my trading. They don't kind of happen often enough for me to add them in terms of my criteria, at least in FX anyway. But gaps 90% of the time do fill, not always straight away. Sometimes you go through a bit of a bullish or bearish phase for 2 3 days, and then eventually the market does go and fill. There's that. But if you're looking to short because of a gap fill and you've got a strategy behind that and you've got a plan behind that, then I think there's good grounds there. In terms of the technicals, in terms of momentum, that's kind of where I would be a little bit sketchy because price has just been steaming to the upside. Yes, it's come back into a nice area. We did stutter for here for a few days with the wicks and we did drop. So it's come back into a nice area where we did see a lot of selling pressure come from, which is why I do think pound yen has a good chance to retrace. I'd wait for a little bit more signs, at least on the 4 hour before I would personally short to get into that. But because of the gap fill and you've got a theory behind that, and you know Statistically, most gaps do fill anyway. So in terms of probability, you do have that on your side, but I think momentum is just the key thing there to be careful about. Okay, sold 2 hours ago. So you're basically taking it right at the high. So in terms, and I imagine your stop loss is around. I'd imagine your stop loss is probably around 199.5, around there, just above the high, which of course makes sense. All right, Will, take care, my man. Have a good one. I'll catch you on the next one. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell as well so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Okay, Anton, you trade the JP225 and the UK 100. Interesting choices there. Okay, you trade it on a 1 minute time frame as well. I forgot about that. At price 199,200. Okay, so you're right at the top. So, I mean, in terms of the entry, you're right at the top there, and I imagine your stop loss is just above it. So I bet the rest of your wall looks pretty good, but it's just again going against that momentum is always going to be a little bit difficult with all that momentum. So I would watch out for that. Um, and yeah, your stop loss 199.55. So yeah, roughly where I would imagine it to be. So yeah, there's a good probability we do gap fill, but momentum might take us up a little bit higher up before that happens. So if that does happen, maybe look for some re-entries. But yeah, that's the only thing. That's the only thing I don't like about the shorts there. But yeah, take a look at the Japanese index. I think that's a little bit interesting right now because oh wow, look at that! I did not see that happen there. That was on Sunday when the market opened. So yeah, I've been looking for a move to the upside. Looks like the Japanese index has corrected itself because we were talking a lot about this last week. The yen pairs were very bullish and the Japanese index was really bearish. And of course, they're normally positively correlated. If the index is up, normally the yen pairs are up and vice versa. So one of them will have to correct themselves. And it looks like the Japanese index has gone and done that. It's looking pretty bullish now. Really big rejection off that low. And we're looking pretty bullish as we come back and see some resistance there. So because the market has just been creating higher highs and higher lows, kind of clean the chart a little bit. We put another high in over there, another higher low there, another higher high, and this looks to me like the next higher low. I'm expecting upside back into resistance now, which is 4,900, and possibly back to the all-time high at 42,450. So to me, JP225 looks really bullish, and I would be expecting more of the same, more upside. Which, if that sustains, that will take the yen pairs to the upside as well. Yeah, some pullbacks and some dips, but if this does make the move back to the high and that high there, it will take the yen pairs with it most likely. So that is a pretty big indicator of what the yen pairs could be doing next on the bigger scale. But typing in the wrong area on the bigger scale. But yeah, really big move, and I do think we'll probably see more of the same. Maybe a bit of a pullback at some point, but yeah, I do think we'll keep pushing up higher. And if I have a look at the UK 100, which I haven't actually had a look at in a while, yeah, and that's the reason why, because it's just consolidating. So literally nothing to report on for the UK 100, nothing to report on. Last time I had a look at it, probably trading around here, maybe more consolidation. I said there could be some nice buys back at the low here because a lot of rejection, bit of a fake out there. If the market can get back there again, I think that's a nice place for a buy. But yeah, the market's just been consolidating in the same place. So nothing really to report on. Same move I'm looking for, but very difficult to trade. And Anton, you said you trade that in the 1 minute chart. You are brave because that looks horrendous to trade, really. Just random moves everywhere. I mean, if you're looking to trade it, just literally sell high and buy low, but otherwise, I would stay far, far away. Conditions aren't not great. What's up, Az? Welcome to the stream. Long time. Hope you're doing well. Welcome, welcome. Aussie dollar. Okay, we can have a look at that one. No problem. Um, Tom, you looking to jump out euro? Yeah, if euro sustains that momentum, I will look to close the position because the main thing I'm looking at is that dollar momentum reversing. And if dollar does keep pushing up and sees more upside, then we're probably going to respect that channel and push higher. So yeah, I will look to close the euro, but I will wait for the candle to close at at not 2 p.m. 1 p.m. UK time, which is about an hour and 45 minutes, because I don't want to act on an open candle because I've seen many times where candles look very bullish and just pull back and leave you a wick and you look kind of stupid. So I'll wait for the candle to close, but if it does not give me the momentum I'm looking for, I'll close early and then wait to see what we can do on the retest. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it as well. It gives you a bit of wiggle room to work with as well, Hardy One. Let me go take a look at Aussie dollar before I forget. So yeah, Aussie dollars looked pretty bearish. We've broken through that low there. I do think we'll probably see a bit of a retracement, but the bigger move to me is looking like it's probably back down to that low there at 0.64. Because if I expand to the weekly chart, all we've been doing is ranging. And I was looking for us to break the high and put a higher low and continue, but we actually broke structure. So since we've had that break of structure, I've only been expecting price to keep falling back into 0.64 now. So to me, Aussie dollar is likely going to keep falling. So if you're looking to trade this one, oh, that is not what I meant to do. There we go. If you're looking to trade this one, I would say you're looking for some corrections, probably on the 4 hour hourly chart. Maybe retest that low there, which was acting as really strong support, which of course now will be resistance, and take some sells accordingly. So I think there's a lot of room for us to sell into. If I'm still looking at that descending channel, marking the high and the low on, we could be looking at price pulling back into this area and basing some trades around that. That way, we're back retesting price support as resistance, back testing that lower trend line, and can look for that lower high in that area of confluence as well. So I do think there's room for us to fall into. Of course, we're kind of in free flow right now, so I wouldn't do anything now, but something like that could be a nice place to base a trade from. And the next big significant area for Aussie dollar is definitely this low here at 0.64 anyway. So I think there's a good chance we do push there anyway. So yeah, I would say because of the break of structure, I do think we'll probably see some more downside. And looking at its partner in crime, which is NZD, I'm looking at the same thing really back into that low. We broke through structure a long, long time ago, and the market's been slowly falling since then. So again, I do think we'll go through a bit of a pullback and see the drop back into 0.588, we'll call it. And let's say if we're lucky enough to get um, a retracement back into this area, it's a bit of an ask, but possible. Is that is a pretty big drop, so we're due a correction at some point anyway. But I think that would be a lovely place for a short, retest that low, and then you've got a really nice swing to look at with a pretty big range there as well. It's about 200 odd pips. Yeah, 200 odd pips to the downside. So some pullbacks there will look good for NZUSD. We're a bit stretched anyway, so we might find some feet somewhere. It depends on what dollar wants to do as well. But that to me still looks like a nice little trade there. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Aussie dollar. What's up, Annie? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are well. Okay, you entered dollar CHF at 0.67867. Okay, so we'll go take a look at that for you. Yesterday's daily moving bear. Okay, we'll take a look. Tom, look at you. Yeah, I would agree. Of course, they both probably do the same thing as well. I mean, they both look pretty bearish, and they both do have room to the downside. Aussie dollar, as we just spoke about, looking at the technicals, has a lot of room to the downside for us to move into back into 0.64. Aussie CAD, which we just had a look at there as well, that's got a lot of room to move down into roughly 0.905, which is roughly the end of that channel, or zero point 0.9. You can look at it as well. So either way, it does look like Aussie CAD can move down, and Aussie CAD, Aussie USD. Apart from CAD and USD, very similar pairs as well, and CAD and USD is similar too anyway. So I do think there's room for us to push into. So of course, it depends what the news has in store, but in terms of the technicals, there's for us to move into. In terms of dollar seat chef for Annie, which we'll take a look at now, and then we'll probably go through some cross pairs, some CAD pairs, some seat chef pairs as well. Take a look at what's happening with them. Pound NZ still pair, which I'm really eager to get a trade on if I can get a pullback somewhere. Hey, appreciate that, Holy One. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like. It does really help out. Appreciate everyone who has liked the stream so far. But if you haven't done so yet, I'm watching you. I'm joking. Nah, I'm not joking. I'm watching you. Make sure you do like the stream if you're enjoying it. But if you're still here, you probably are anyway. So with dollar CHF, you said you've gone short, or are you looking to short? Okay, you've gone short at 0.867. Let me mark that on the chart. 867. Okay, that's around there-ish. So yeah, you're right on the daily chart. We are looking like we're having a bit of trouble there in the daily, especially with yesterday's candle closure for Monday. Big wick to the up, close nice deep bearish there as well. So there is room for us to fall into again for dollar CHF if we are going to see a bit of a dip. I'm looking for price to push a little bit higher. This is kind of where I'm looking to sell from, which is like kind of a double top of that high, which is back at 0.872, and then look for the drop back into the low 0.854. So there might still be a bit of room for us to push into. Dollar will have a big say as well. But again, worst case scenario, well, not worst case scenario, but if the trade was to fail, it might just mean that the dollar wants to push up a little bit higher, and USD wants to push up a little bit higher as well, back into around 0.874 before we do get that sell. So you could still be looking at move down. Not too sure how far you're looking to take the trades, whether you're looking for a bit more of a day trade or you're looking for a bit of a swing. If we do see the downside I'm looking for, I think there's a good chance we at least come back and retest the high here around 0.854. So I do think that move is likely to take place, but we might push up a little bit higher before that happens. So if that is the case, you can always look for re-entries. We're coming to a nice area here. We could go and put a nice head and shoulder pattern. So you got the old left head and right shoulder. Again, there's two ways to look at that. You can either look to short at the right shoulder, which is where price is coming into now, which is kind of where you shorted that, or you wait for price to clear support and look for opportunities on the back of that. This is, of course, the more conservative opportunity, waiting for that retest and waiting for the break of structure. But this will get you into the trade earlier and maximize your risk reward. So it's up to you how you want to tackle that. But of course, you're ready in the trade there. So really what you want to see is price respect this area. If it starts breaking through, it's probably going to push to the high and probably going to push back to that level there anyway. And then if you can see price break through that area, brilliant. Probably some opportunities to add to the position as well. So I do agree with the bias and the direction of dollar CHF. I think that's where the bigger move is likely to happen. But yeah, we need to wait for price to give us some signs that we are rejecting this and about to roll over. Otherwise, we might push up a little bit higher. But again, in terms of risk rewards, if you do get stopped out, as long as you're managing risk, it's perfectly fine. And if you can get back into the trade at a higher price, you will have a positive risk reward. You'll make back your loss, and then some. So yeah, it's never really the end of the world. But yeah, I do like the opportunity though. I do like it. Oops, let me like the video. Appreciate that. Just living. Yeah, it does really help out the stream, guys. So if you want to drop a like, enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like. It does really help out. And of course, subscribe whilst you're at it. And you can hit the bell too. But yeah, in terms of some of the crosses, because we'll go through them, we'll go through some CAD pairs, some of the C-chair pairs, and go for like pound Aussie, Euro Aussie, and those guys as well. Because first of all, pound NZD definitely a market which I like at the moment. I haven't really been a big fan of the crosses as of late, but pound NZD is one that is on a mission right now. We're seeing some really nice higher highs and higher lows, and you can see here we've just gone in shot to the upside again and broken through some key levels here on the left. So for me, there's a pretty good chance that the market is likely to continue pushing and probably to make a move all the way back into the high here at 2.19. So my plan for pound NZD, as long as we can stay above this level here at 2.156, I'm anticipating pullbacks. I'm anticipating a move back into that high. So if I drop to the 4-hour chart, what I'm looking for is something like this: new high, pullback, retest, higher low. And again, as to what I was referring to earlier in terms of the breakout, this is not really a shallow breakout anymore. Price has really gone for it, pushed away. Nice kind of closure on the daily chart as well. So now hopefully we can see a pullback of that, a higher low somewhere, and then get price moving to the upside. That'll be lovely. And yeah, expecting a push back into the high. So yeah, in terms of pound NZD, I think this is a really nice opportunity. It's a pair on my watch list, a pair which I'm actively monitoring. Of course, there's not much for me to do until we get back to that retest, but that is the idea at play. Pound Aussie looks like it's trying to do that, but it just doesn't look as good as pound NZD at all. Again, lovely momentum there. I can't knock that. Really nice big bullish candlesticks to the upside, and it looks like probably at some point we may be pushing back to the high around 1.99. It looks like we're breaking through resistance here as well, which is pretty pivotal. So it does look like price is breaking structure there very well. And if we keep that up, we're probably going to push to 1.9, 1.99. But compared to pound NZD, the opportunity is a lot cleaner here. And we've seen a lot steeper of a trend, a lot cleaner of a trend here as well. So I'd much rather, take my chances with longing pound NZD, even though they're similar pairs, than jumping into pound Aussie. But because they're similar, we will see a similar move. So this one might be one to watch out for. The pound NZD doesn't give us a pullback. But yeah, I'm looking for a push into 1.99. And this one has been pretty steady with the higher lows there as well. So overall, we're looking for another push higher. But in terms of Euro Aussie and Euro NZD, those guys still look hectic to me. I'm not looking to touch them. Again, nice break there yesterday and this morning. Really nice momentum there. But overall, looking at the bigger picture, a lot of consolidation. Not interested in trading at all. And if we quickly take a look at UNSD as well, it's the exact same situation. Big consolidation here. Not really interested in trading at all. Yes, we've seen a bit of momentum again yesterday, this morning, but we're just pushing back into resistance. We're in the middle of nowhere of the trend. Not really something I'm interested in as well. So yeah, UNSD and EURAUSSI, I'm discarding them, but pound NZD looks good. And maybe if I see a bit more from pound Aussie, I might look to add that one to my watch list at some point, but not at the moment. Euro pound, that one's just been absolutely actually it's been okay. It's ranging here, yes, but it's trading at a massive level, to be honest. So I'll excuse it because it makes sense. It's a big level, and you can see every time price does get here, it'll spend a little bit before it does actually have that big move. So I don't think it will just absolutely fly, but you might dip below it a little bit and eventually see a pretty big move. So I think Euro pound buys look good in the next few weeks, and probably an opportunity which I'll be interested in. It does depend how structure develops in the lower time frames, though. I need to see those breaker structures, those higher lows before I jump in. Something like this is what I'm looking for to jump into the buys, but I think they are coming up. Price needs a bit of time. And for Aussie New Zealand dollar, I just don't really know what this one is doing, to be fair. So I'm going to stay away from it. If I expand to the weekly chart, I have no idea what price is doing here. So, I mean, it does look like price is slowly getting ready for a big move to the upside for those higher lows. been pretty consistent with that. So I have taken note of that, but in the grand scheme of things, it's just very flat. So I can't really do much with that. Maybe if we get a um, strong break of this resistance here, maybe I can look into Aussie New Zealand dollar a little bit in a bit more detail, maybe something like that. We can push it back to the high there, maybe, but we're a long, long way away from that because we're still respecting as resistance. So not interested in that one. And then in terms of the CHF pairs, still pretty bearish on them. We spoke about Aussie CHF briefly as well. I think that was coming down to the low. I think if we can get a retest of this support level, there could be some nice opportunities for some sells there. Not too sure I'll take part because it's in the middle of the range there. So not the biggest fan about finding entries there. Really want to be situated up high. CAD CHF still kind of in the consolidation, so not really much to report on for this one. But again, still do expect us to eventually break break lower. Still expecting us to eventually come back and do support there, but it's just I'm not going to be the person to find that out in the trade because number one, I don't know where I can find a good entry. Number two, when we put my stop loss, I did highlight this level here a couple of weeks back. At some point, it looked likely that we're going to get that retest. We were breaking here, but we didn't quite get the move. I still think that's a nice place for a short because it's above the noise, and you're back into some highs we haven't been in for a while. So I think that's a nice place for a short. Whether we get all the way back to that low, that's a different question. But at least for a nice reaction, I think that's a nice place to play some trades. Otherwise, in that range, not interested. Pound CHF still looks pretty horrendous to me, so not looking to trade that one at all. It's actually looking pretty bullish this morning, that momentum there. The CHF week, I don't even know. I haven't really been focusing on the last 4-hour candlesticks. I think that was falling Aussie CHF, Euro CHF. Maybe CHF is a little bit weak, but nothing crazy. But yeah, with pound CHF, again, naturally pretty bearish on this one, but overall we have been a little bit sideways as well. So not really seeing much of an opportunity to trade until that kind of cleans itself out. Because otherwise, I wouldn't even look to do anything with the market. Yes, we are seeing that overall kind of trend continue. And yes, it may eventually come back into that low around 1.02. But until we kind of break through the support there, there's not much I can do because we could have a bigger pullback all the way into this area first before we do short. In fact, if we do, the shorts become a lot clearer because at that point we're back at major resistance. So you can you can put a nice stop loss above the high and anticipate that rollover happening, and the risk to reward will be look a lot better as well. And then if I take a look at Euro Swiss, if we go to the weekly chart, so yeah, again, pretty nice clean trend in the higher time frames. Things are moving pretty well over there as well. So I like what I'm seeing there for Euro Swiss, but difficult to find any entries at the moment. Yes, we'll probably likely take a move back into there. I know a few people on the streams have been talking about sells on Euro CHF and looking for Euro CHF to come back into the low. And I've been agreeing with them. And I still think that is likely the move to happen. But yeah, we just been moving sideways for a very, very long time now. I do think we're just going to squeeze eventually and eventually break out something like this and get the move. It's just difficult to get a good entry anywhere. You could argue trading the trend line there, but I would be against it because overall we're very, very sideways. But yeah, Euro CHF still naturally bearish. So in regard to the CHF pairs, I'm still looking for sells, but nothing there quite yet. The only pair of the cross pairs that looks good is pound NZD. Out the CAD pairs, I do like Aussie CAD pound CAD for the reversal, which I do think is pending. because the market is still pushing up really hard. Really nice trend there. Again, as I've mentioned, that big monthly level. Um, as I mentioned, that big monthly level, I'm not going to be looking to take any buys anymore or look to follow the trend, because I do think now is the time to see some downside, and probably a big push back into that low at some point in time. Of course, I'm not going to look to take advantage of that big move in one go, but there is room for us to push into, because that's effectively where we're ranging before that big breakout there. We could be looking to repeat that again afterwards as well. So yeah, now that price is trading at this high here, we might see a deeper test of that level. Price might really push into it, yes, but I think overall probably can see that sell pretty soon. But what I'm looking for that sell is a break of the trend line, um, and a break of this area here. Because if you can break below that, I think that will be some really nice opportunities for some shorts there. So out of the CAD pairs, I think Aussie CAD looks good, but it's a bit more of a shorter time frame trade, um, which you of course already gone through. But there could be a nice little retest there of the high. Um, so yeah, that looks good there. And CAD similar situation as well. Back into the lower end of the trend line, retest there, and then EuroCAD. Yeah, EuroCAD. I'm still looking for a big sell, but I need it to break the floor there, because overall the market has just been ranging here back and forth between the high and the low. It looks like price has tried to break the high there, but has basically just failed. And it's kind of formed a mini consolidation, or like a mini triangular range pattern. I forget the name, but it's squeezing between the high and the low essentially. So something like this would be a nice break, a retest somewhere, and then some shorts. And yeah, a push back into the low, that 1.46 will look really good there as well. And that will be a similar opportunity to pound CAD, because I mean, it's not the trend reversal, but it's a break of this kind of bullish move here. Get ready for some shorts. But overall, it does look like CAD pairs are slowly getting ready for some big sales. It does look like profits. We've seen some nice moves for pound CAD and the other CAD pairs. Just living. I'm not gonna share that on the stream. A cash pound yen analysis. Okay, I'll go through pound yen quickly, but um, because it has been a while since I had a look at the yen pairs. Can I not spell? There we go. So as I mentioned with pound yen, we're at a nice place for some shorts, but price is just looking way too bullish. So I need a little bit more from pound yen at these highs that we're about to turn around. Otherwise, we might actually see a bigger continuation. I mean, it was a strong close on the last 4-hour candle, but we're trading at some areas where I do think we'll probably see a bit of a dip in the market. So my bias for pound yen is looking for some short-term downside, just not seeing signs of that just yet. The market's still very bullish. And if you do see a strong break of that, depending how strong, we may just continue flying. With pound yen. So I think in terms of the buys, this looks like the best area. If we could see a pullback from there, that would be great, because we do have some really sturdy resistance, which had held for a while, and the price eventually saw the break of that. So I'm kind of looking for price to pull back onto that level, retest it, and then continue. Um, but at the moment, it's just way too bullish to see that happen. So um, yeah, at the moment, looking for a bit of a dip. I think the buys look good around 196, 195. Um, but yeah, we're not really seeing signs like that just yet. And that's kind of what I'm looking at across the board for a lot of the yen pairs, is that bigger dip at some point. And hopefully we can get some buys later on. Like CAD yen, for example, is talking about the area here. It doesn't look like we're testing that. CHF JPY is talking about some buys around here, which is what I'm keen to get involved with. Doesn't look like we're getting there either, unfortunately. But hopefully we can get those pullbacks there. Um, I think yeah, that's the only kind of yen pair I'm interested in, and of course Aussie yen and New Zealand yen. I do think there's some nice opportunities with those guys, but they just need to break out these ranges first before I go into detail about them. Yeah, they need to break out those ranges before I can speak more about them. Otherwise, it's just 50-50. We'll see some nice bullish momentum, hit the high, come back down, reject it, and push back up again. Holy one. Okay, so you couldn't take them because you're already in some previous trades. Yeah, I mean, again, in terms of risk management, I think you made the right decision because you don't want to be in a situation where you're taking, too many trades. I mean, you've mentioned this before, but you don't want to go in a situation where you're taking too many of the same trades and then it's either they all work or they all fail. But in terms of the risk management, I think that's the most important thing in terms of keeping on lock. And if you can manage the risk per trade, manage how many trades you're taking, then you're always going to put yourself in a good situation. But yeah, of course, it's unfortunate to miss out on some trades because you're in some other trades and see them play out, but you didn't take them because you're already in the trades you are currently. So it can be a bit annoying with that. But I think the most important thing is looking back at the trades that you are taking. And if they do make sense, fit the plan well, tick the boxes well, and they are good quality trades, you can't be too upset with it because, yes, maybe you are missing out on a few opportunities here and there because you look at a wide range of pairs. But if you are just taking good trades, then you got to pat yourself on the back and keep at it really, and pat yourself on the back for the discipline as well, because it's not easy to always stay consistent and take the right trades, and not overtrade as well. It's very easy to let that greed creep in and take every single trade under the sun because of that eagerness to make money and make profit. So I think it's kudos to you for having that discipline as well. Some Keller, okay, we'll take a look at gold for you, no problem. Um, yeah, exactly. You already had trades running, need to close them first, exactly. No need to over leverage the account, put more risk unneededly. Sure, they did play out, of course, but only hindsight told you that. Um, so with gold, so yeah, as I mentioned before with gold, the level I was looking for the retest of, which was here, but yeah, I just haven't seen the retest of that, unfortunately. In terms of the lower time frames, I do think there is an opportunity to be had, though. The retest of this high here, around 2740, you can see the consecutive higher lows gold has been making. I do think we are due another one because price hasn't created new highs yet. We're very close to it. We're kind of building up at that high. We might push down a little bit, take out some traders who have some nice stops underneath there because we're kind of just consolidating right now. So we might push down first, then push higher. So I like the buys with gold. I just don't see us having that bigger pullback into this 2680 level. Realistically, we're probably gonna get pulled back into this area, find some buys there, and then push up higher up. So gold, very bullish. I would only be looking at buying opportunities. I know we're trading at the high there, so some people will be looking to short. Fine, but I think in these conditions, looking to short is just very, very difficult. Yes, you might see a reaction, but price isn't going to go far, most likely, and is going to probably take a U-turn and go and break that high at some point. So, yes, we're trading at resistance. I can understand looking to short, but momentum's with the buyers here, so I would be more happy to take these longs here, anticipate a break to the upside, and at that point, you can just trail and see how far you can take price because you don't know, price could be onto a crazy one. You could just end up flying. But yeah, I like the longs of gold. I would wait for around 2740 for some longs. And then, yeah, expecting gold to break structure and continue to fly. And in the rare case, we do see a big drop for gold, and maybe NFP comes very bearish for gold and price does fall. Then I will stay vigilant for this buy here at 2680 if it does come around. But gold's just looking pretty bullish. It looks like silver's doing the same thing as well. So, yeah, might not get the retest of that level. Yeah, again, I think that's just discipline there, Holy One. That's just discipline. Knowing how many trades you want to take, how many trades you want to be at the same time, and then just staying disciplined with that rule because it's very, very easy to break that because there's no one over your shoulder to say, okay, don't take the trade. There's no one there to to hold you accountable. It's up to yourself to do that. So you kind of saying, okay, I've already got these trades open. I'm not going to add any more and wait for these trades to close first, and then I can open new positions. I think that's I think that's kudos to your discipline and risk management as well. Okay, Turkey stock market. I don't know. Have I looked at the Turkey stock market before? Maybe. Maybe you told me. Um, we'll have a look at it. I'm not too sure. KCHHOL. Let me just go through platinum first, and I'll have a look at it. Okay, platinum looking really bullish. Let me start fresh. Let me look at the higher time frame. So we already know silver and gold are very bullish. So there's a good chance platinum is going to eventually follow because it's another big metal. And if the metals are bullish, they're normally bullish together. Um, and gold kind of leading the way. So I do think platinum is it looks very similar to silver as well. Have a look at silver quickly. With this big drop, consolidation, breakout, kind of visualize that, keep that in your mind. We move back onto platinum, big drop here, push up, consolidation, and now potentially a breakout. It's just it hasn't happened yet with platinum. So we might be seeing a really big move there with platinum, possibly back to the high here and a lot further as well. And I've talked a lot about silver being a really good buy, but I think platinum probably looks like a really good buy as well. And this one hasn't really got going yet, so there's still a long way for us to push. And this is the monthly time frame as well, so there's a lot of upside to be had for this one, but it's still difficult conditions, still very corrective and very choppy. What I want to be seeing is consistent higher highs and higher lows, and look to try and take advantage of something like that. Um, if I drop to the daily chart, we are seeing signs of that happening. Nice push to the upside, pull back, high low. So it does look like we're probably going to push back into the high there at one point. Actually, not 1 point, sorry, at 1091. So it does look like we're probably going to continue push back into that high. So I ought to be looking at some corrections now. Maybe a pullback and a retest of the high there, high or low. See the next step in that sequence. You got one there, second one there, hopefully a third, and then you got some targets there to run back to the high. And like I said, I do think we can go a lot further, but I think we just focus for here for now, 1091. So very, very bullish on platinum. I think the metals will just continue higher, really, in general, platinum included. A nice pullback there is probably due at this point in time, around 10, 10, 15. And I'll look for some longs around there to take it back to the high. And the risk reward looks pretty good to me as well. So, yeah, I do like the longs there for platinum. In terms of the Turkish stock market, let me see. KCHOL. Okay. May have looked at this before. Wow, that is just flying. Let me go on the weekly chart. Yeah, that is flying there. Very exponential since 2021, though. But yeah, we pull back into a nice area for longs. I think this area here is kind of where you're looking for buys. I know this is the weekly chart, but these are turning points in the market where we're probably likely to push up. Um, But yeah, I think I would be waiting that we can delete that. We know it's there. I'll wait for price to start to break some structure first um, ooh, before looking for some longs, and then take some buys accordingly. Otherwise, you might keep falling, and there's a secondary we could fall into as well. So I do think there's a lot of room to the upside given the circumstances of the market. But I would wait for a bit of a sign that we are about to push to the upside, and then I'll look to follow that along. But yeah, definitely a very bullish market, and there is a lot of room for us to push into. At least come back and retest that low there, or fill that gap there as well. But I would want to see some high lows first. But yeah, I'll be looking at some big swings to the upside there. TP sooner than £30 account. Profit's profit, early one. Profit's profit. Is SDCAD starting to see some downside now? Yes, it is. Still at that floor though, but it does look like it's about to break. I'm guessing you'll take profit. Is probably the wicks down here on the 4 hour and holy one. I'm guessing that's probably where your targets are. Pavinator, what's up, my man? Hope you're well. Happy Tuesday to you as well. No, I haven't changed my streaming times. The UK's changed its times. We had daylight saving hours, so our clocks went back on the weekend in the UK. So yeah, for me, it's still normal time, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. But because our clocks went back, it looks like I'm streaming an hour later. But I'm staying true to the clocks in the UK. That's where I base my times from. No problem. United States of America versus all versus all others. I like the name. Um, okay. Okay, you're in Australia. I didn't know that. 10:52, is that at night? 10:52 p.m. So you're about to go to bed, and I didn't just get up, but it's still morning for me. I mean, it's not midday yet. Um, and you'll be going off to bed pretty soon. Yeah, cool, cool, cool. But yeah, the daylight went back. Do you do that in Australia as well? Do the clocks go back in Australia? I'd imagine they do, but yeah, I don't know. Death scroll time. Fair play, fair play. But yeah, NZCAD is looking pretty bearish, so hopefully some more downside there. But yeah, for me, I think okay, your daylight has just finished. Okay, fairs. So yeah, for me, I think the next pair I'm looking at is definitely going to be pound NZD for the longs. They look the best. A lot of momentum right now. So, and the thing is about pound NZD, it does correct on itself a lot. So although the price is looking really bullish now, seeing a lot of momentum, I do think we're likely going to get a pullback because the market just corrects all the time. It's very corrective on itself. So even though we're seeing a strong break, we probably will go through a correction at some point and hopefully get the retest I'm looking for. And if I do, the risk reward looks really good back into the high there as well. So yeah, pound NZD does by far look the best opportunity right now for me. Um, in terms of Euro USD, if we do see a strong close momentum against me, I will look to close the trade a little bit early. Um, so yeah, I'll wait for this candle to close there on the 4 hour chart. Still got an hour and 5 minutes before it does close. But yeah, if it does close similar to how it's looking now, I'll close it early. Look to see what we can do in the retest, and then potentially look for some longs there. So there is room to the upside for us to move into. If I look at the dollar as well, there's room for us to fall into. But at this moment in time, looks like the market is just rebounding very comfortably off that low, and like going to see another push to the upside, and so maybe some new highs there as well. So unless something just quickly with the dollar, uh, it's going to be difficult to see some upside in euro. Okay. Your Aussie dollar play at the moment. What are you looking to do with Aussie dollar? Okay. Okay. So you're only focused on Aussie dollar. Okay. So you're looking to sort the strategy out before you pick up another pair. Yeah, sometimes adding another pair, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but yeah, the thing about trading different markets is one market could be dead, another market could be moving, and the other market might be dead, and the other market might be looking really good. So it gives you that flexibility because when Aussie dollar's consolidating and not really giving many setups, that's when you're kind of on the sidelines, but you can be trading another pair which is moving. And especially if you're still kind of learning your trade as well. And especially if you just got like a demo account, it's really nice to play around with that and learn quickly. Um, so yeah, I think adding another pair will help speed up the learning curve. Probably would say probably not another dollar pair though, maybe like a yen pair. I mean that might be a little bit aggressive, but just to give some different flavor. Okay, you're back in the right time. Is that for the US, Karis? Okay, your daylight finish on Sunday. Yeah, the US is always one week ahead. Okay, you're already in Pound NSD. Of course you are, Holy One. Of course you are. You're always in the in the trade I'm looking to get in. Are you buying Pound NSD? Okay, you're planning Aussie Euro. Okay, so Euro Aussie. Yeah, Euro Aussie is a good one. I mean, it's a bit. I wouldn't be the pair I would recommend someone to go and to get involved with. I think Euro Aussie is a good pair to add to your trading if you're looking to mix it up because Euro Aussie can be quite corrective, but then it has big moves. It does move kind of in the Asian session, does have some nice moves in the Asian session, which is kind of a bit more your time in Australia. But I'll say a yen pair. I'll be like Euro yen or something like that, or pound yen or dollar yen. I'll say that's a good pair to look at as well. Euro Aussie can be very corrective, but again, it depends what type of strategy you're looking at. If you're looking at a pullback strategy, then maybe a yen pair will be better. If you're looking at a bit more mean reversion and sell high and buy low, then Euro Aussie could be good. Um, but yeah, Euro Aussie is definitely not a pair I would recommend to beginners. It can be a bit choppy sometimes. Uh, okay, which one is that? So what did I look at then? Was that not the Turkish stock market? I have no idea. I thought I just looked at it, but this price action does not look similar at all. I mean, no, it is still very bullish. It's still very bullish. But yeah, it's coming back into nice bullish territory for a long there. Coming back into this low here. This is where you're looking for that next kind of swing to the upside, back to where we came from. Um, Looking at this on the 4 hour, so steadily pushing up, but again, I'd wait for that structure to break and then look for the high lows accordingly. But yeah, it's a nice bullish area. I'd watch out for this area here as well. That could be a nice little target coming back into this low. But yeah, I would expect us to eventually break and push back into the highs because that's all we've been doing. Go to the higher time frames. That's all the market has been doing. Okay, trading views lagging a little bit there. But yeah, the market's just been bullish since beginning of time, really. So yeah, would expect more upside. But yeah, guys, we have come up to the end of the stream. Do appreciate everyone tuning in. And if you have enjoyed the stream, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell as well so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you check out the Discord channel for elevating traders if you haven't done so already. Completely free to join. Link to that at the top of the chat. Also in the description below. You can find discount opportunities there for your next Elevating Traders Challenge. And of course, you can join the discussion, share trading opportunities with myself, other traders as well. So if you are looking to join a community on Discord, make sure you go check out the Elevating Discord, which is linked at the top of the chat. Guys, really do appreciate you tuning in. I will be live again, same time as always, for the UK time anyway, because our clocks have changed, about 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you guys are free, feel free to pop in, say hi, discuss some charts, and have a good time. But guys, really thank you for coming onto the stream. Have a great Tuesday, and I'll see you all in the next one.